Hi friends, just recording a quick mid-afternoon webcast before my kids wake up from their nap. Hopefully they don't interrupt us. So culminating activity coming up. I just have a few things to go through so that we're all on the same page. I noticed with the essay in particular, there were too many people skipping too much content, which has led to a lot of wasted time for some people because a lot of you didn't realize that there was only 3 questions and topics to choose from. Those were presented in Unit 3, Activity 3, and then Activity 4. And by skipping the content, not only did you not notice that, but you also start to create your own questions and frame the entire essay that you according to your own terms, which was not at all an option. So be wary of that. I know the content is kind of annoying to get through in D2L sometimes. You got to skip through the different parts, but it really pays off just to have a sense of the whole before starting a piece of it, and I think that's what people are lacking. So please do that. Just before we get into the culminating activity, general credit rescue. I'm speaking with most people who are behind, and most people are giving me their phone numbers, and we're just having a conversation about it. But as a general rule, if you are behind, you have to kind of play this strategically, right? If you're going for an 80 or a 90 in this course, you need to do everything. You need to do all the discussions. You need to do all the responses. You need to submit everything. If you're just trying to make sure that you get your grade 11 mark at some point, or you've fallen so far behind and you have a bunch of other commitments this week, but you don't want to drop the course, then just prioritize. So Unit 3 has a culminating, like that essay is going to be a huge part. Unit 1 had a culminating, which was weighted very heavily. You want to get that in. And then Unit 4, I don't think there is a huge, like that podcast that you do, the Malcolm Gladwell analysis, none of that is weighted as heavily as either of those other 2 culminatings. So the next big thing is obviously this anthology that you have to do for your culminating, because that's worth 30%, and if you do really well, you get the full 30%, which is a huge piece of the puzzle. Okay? So prioritize, and then you can fill in the rest afterwards. I don't need to say that much more about it, but if you are worried about finishing the course and you need like a more specific plan, just reach out and talk to me. Remember, everything will be due by next Thursday at 11 a.m., which I believe is the 22nd or 23rd. Okay? This is really for marking purposes, and so we can really work on credit rescue those last couple of days of that week. Okay, let's get into it. So there's 2 parts to Unit 5, right? There's 2 responsibilities that you have, and they are connected for this culminating. The first is an annotated bibliography. So first of all, you have to figure out what an annotated bibliography is, and you can do that by going to the content. Let's just go over there. Writing an annotated bibliography. A bibliography is a list of sources one has used for researching a topic. A bibliography usually just includes the bibliographic information. An annotation is a summary and or evaluation. Therefore, an annotated bibliography includes the bibliographic information and a summary and or evaluation of each of the sources. So basically you have to do 3 things. You have a bibliography, which has to be done in MLA, according to MLA guidelines. And then you have to summarize the source. And then you have to comment on it according to a specific theme. In this case, the theme, as we're going to find out, is identity. So, summarize, assess, reflect. Okay, and then they give you an example of MLA format. An annotated bibliography is formatted in this specific way, so you have an example in front of you. And then over here you have a criteria. When you've completed your research and have a mixture of at least 5 fiction and non-fiction, so remember what that means. 5 fiction, as in, made up, and then non-fiction, which means commentary on real-world articles. We've had a mixture of those texts in our course. Write an annotated bibliography. In each annotation, summarize the text and reflect on what the text says about the theme of identity. And then follow this criteria and ask yourself these questions. Are we following the MLA guidelines? Is each source cited properly? Does each source contain all the following? A. An annotation that summarizes the text and analyzes the evaluation and evaluates the effectiveness of the text in terms of what it says about the theme of identity. Are the sources listed a mixture of fiction and non-fiction text? Do the sources listed represent a mixture of different types of media text? And then go to the rubric and understand that you're going to get evaluated on these two. These are your level 4s to hit. Uses the format of an annotated bibliography with a high degree of accuracy, and then analyzes and evaluates text with a high degree of effectiveness. So if you just summarize these texts, that is not the same as analyzing and evaluating with a high degree of effectiveness, right? So that's your first part, which is great. And then there's actually a second part. So once you've done this annotated bibliography, step 2 is to choose 2 of these, not 3. You do not need 3, you need 2. Okay. Don't do the extra one. And you need to write out one which is going to be a podcast or a movie. So you have to find a way to change the script a little bit for those mediums, okay? Once you've done that and you just have these scripts ready, they need to be posted to the discussion. I would say that should be done by no later than Monday morning at 11 o'clock, okay? And that allows people to give you feedback and for you to give feedback on them. And then you'll have a full, hopefully 24 hours to put together the rest of it. Remember, while you're getting feedback on this, you can still continue to work on the anthology, okay? So the second, that's step 2. Okay, so choose 2 of them, and you're really going to work these and make them a little bit more robust and perfect them. Okay, step 3 is the anthology creation. Okay, and in order to do that, now you need to know what an anthology is and what creation is. Okay, so again, all this can be found fairly simple in activity 3 over here, and it goes through what they want from you. Okay. And they'll give you, the problem is the exemplar is not here, so I'm going to post another exemplar. But they say below is an anthology on the theme of war that was created using the free website creator Wix. You may have to use this or another similar site to create your digital portfolio. So you don't have to use Wix. They give you other options here. If you really are uncomfortable with that stuff, I mean, I would just challenge yourself to use Wix because it's fun to learn how to do that. And I don't think it will take you that much time, and it will be a way cooler anthology. But you could, if you aren't, just go back to using Prezi or something that's been around for a long time and that you're really comfortable with. Okay. And then it gives you, again, it's now time to assemble your anthology. It gives you the criteria. A lot of these are visual. I've chosen fonts and colors that are easy to read. I've chosen images and design elements. Some of them are related to sources and formatting. I've ensured that I have permission to use any images that appear in my anthology, so they're properly cited. Right, and then it says I've included an analysis for 2 of my anthology selections. Which, one of them is either a video or a podcast. I've included a short annotation for the excerpts that don't have full analysis. So, you know, you've already done that work basically. Anyways, it keeps going like that, and then again, there is a rubric here, which if you ask yourself the questions, am I doing all these things? You should have no problem doing well. Okay? So, I'm expecting this to not be too much of a struggle, but please, 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 don't just skip ahead to the rubrics without reading everything, because you miss details by doing that, right? And this is one of the difficulties. I know a lot of people are doing this course half of the time on their own phone, and your phone is a really terrible way to scroll through this kind of content. Not that D2L doesn't work on your phone, but it's just so easy to get in the habit of rolling through everything. Please don't do that. And email me with your questions as usual. I've tried to get back to everyone who wanted to talk about their midterm. I know there's a couple people who our schedules are not really working out, but there's always an opportunity to communicate with me, and I do my best to get back to everybody within a 3 to 4 hour period. Okay? Best of luck, everybody. We're almost there. Work hard. Remember, you will be rewarded for a lot of these assignments. Some of you may have noticed who've submitted stuff already. There's a few sticking points that are university preparation, like thesis writing and essay writing, where the marking is going to be significantly more challenging, as in I'm challenging you to really work through that process more than something than like a podcast where I'm kind of giving away more marks in that way. And because ultimately one is going to determine a lot of your success in university, and the other may if you go into certain fields, but is less likely to be as relevant. Okay? That's it for now. No kids yet. Awesome. Have a great day.